Hello everyone. Before we begin, let me introduce myself. I am Professor Asia Idris from JAT Arts, Science and Commerce College for Women, Malegaon. Today, I am going to talk about the chemistry as language of the universe. First of all, I'll begin by defining what is chemistry. I'll continue by elaborating the connection between chemistry, life and universe. And finally, I'll discuss how chemistry is playing its role in the universe. Let us start by the question, what is chemistry? Chemistry is defined as study of matter, right? Everything in the universe is made up of matter and matter can be converted into energy. This oversimplified definition would basically mean that chemistry is the study of everything, but it does have a focus. Chemistry is not defined by what subject we study, but the scale at which it is studied. Physics is studied at the scale of galaxies, stars, and their orbits, but the chemistry is studied at the atomic or molecular scale. As we have discussed that chemistry is the science of everything, it is impossible to cover all the chemical processes going in this universe. So, I would like to restrict myself to the chemistry behind the existence of life in the universe. So, what is the relation between chemistry, life, and universe? As we understand it, life requires a few specific conditions to evolve and thrive, mainly the presence of water and organic molecules. We have always known that water is essential to life. Water is such a simple molecule composed of two of the most abundant and simple elements, that is hydrogen and oxygen. Put them together in the right way and you have a compound that, as far as we know, is indispensable to life. Our search for life and environment that can sustain it in space starts with search of water. But have you ever wondered how we will look for water out there? How do we detect water on the moon, on other planets, or even in deep space? It became a real responsibility with the achievement of Apollo missions. Manned mission to the moon gave researchers a very real chance to place instrumentations directly on the surface to look for signs of water. Among those instruments was a mass spectrometer, but years of attempts to find water with the mass spectrometer was fruitless. It turns out that there is a way to search for water without sending a manned mission. We know the vibrations of chemical bonds gives them the ability to absorb infrared light, but only very specific frequencies that depend on the type of atoms involved in that bond. Water does this with great efficiency, so much so that it is a property that we can look for in the atmosphere of planets simply by assessing how well they absorb certain infrared lights. The first thing that we look to weigh the odds of water existing in the distant region of space is an absorption band at 3 micrometer, which falls in the IR region of the spectrum. When light of this frequency is absorbed, it is usually by an OH bond, and a sample of water is simply a huge collection of OH bonds. Next, I would like to talk about chemistry behind origin of life. There is still a great deal of debate over just how life got started on earth, but we can say a few things with relative certainty. For example, there must have been liquid oceans, which means that not only was water present, but the surface temperature of the planet was moderate enough to maintain liquid bodies of that water. Chemistry finds its way also in origin of life, and this is where things get tricky. In a living organism, biomolecules like DNA must be self-replicating, meaning that one strand can create another. But there is a circular process going on in living system. DNA is translated into RNA, which is used in the production of protein. But those proteins assist in DNA management by performing tasks like repairing mutations and helping DNA to wind up properly. So, we can't make proteins without RNA, RNA without DNA, and also we can't make copies of DNA without protein. Ultimately, question arises in our mind that if amino acids and proteins were the original biomolecules, how could they form without the aid of a living system? This question was put to the test by Stanley Miller in 1953, where he created a simulated early Earth atmosphere in his laboratory and was able to produce amino acids inside of it using only non biological materials like H2O, that means water, methane, ammonia, and nitrogen. Again, simple chemical compounds. In addition to understanding how life come to be on planets, another driver for space exploration is the desire to find out new outputs for human colonization. Let us see how chemistry helps us for this. We can improve the inhabitability of planets that show promise but aren't quite perfect by a process called terraforming, which involves changing a planet's atmospheric chemistry. In this figure, look how terraforming on Mars will change its environment. This figure shows how day by day, as the process of terraforming goes on, how the climate on the Mars will change and it may become our new home. Now let us discuss chemistry behind terraforming. Fluorinated hydrocarbons gases acts as a starter for global warming on Mars. These compounds absorb IR radiation in space. The highly polar carbon fluorine bonds are practically custom made to absorb infrared radiations emitted from the surface of the planet. As these gases promote heating of the planet's atmosphere, making it suitable for life. To summarize, let's review the key points from this session. Chemistry is the science of everything. Chemists study universe at atomic or molecular level. Existence of life in the universe is mainly due to water and biomolecules. OH bond absorbs a specific higher frequency which helps in detection of water on planets. Simple chemical compounds are responsible for the origin of life. Terraforming is the process of changing the atmospheric conditions on the planet in order to make it hospitable for humans. Thanks for watching.